So I'm not the biggest Anthony Smith fan. I do think a lot of what he says is pretty much delusional, especially his whole on paper theory and about how on paper he's better than John Jones and shit like that. Uh, I don't think Anthony Smith is the best fighter, obviously. But again, bottom line, he is a fighter, and I respect anybody who makes the walk to the octagon, and he has made that walk numerous times. I just think he's a little bit delusional. But this take that I'm about to present to you guys is a take that makes sense to me. He talked about the GFL and about what they're doing. Now, the GFL is a anomaly to me. It still is today. It's always really been since I first found out about it. It is apparently a new fight league, the Global Fight League, I think it's called, but it's a new fight game organization, MMA organization that is apparently picking up a lot of retired UFC fighters and making matches already. They have a match planned between Dylan Dennis and Tony Ferguson. And you know they also did like a huge draft, which was weird, and they're signing a lot of fighters. They signed Sage Northcutt, who used to fight in the UFC and then left the UFC and had a really bad life changing injury. But he's back, so they signed Sage Northcutt. They signed Alexander Gustafsson. They've signed Shogun Rua. They've also apparently signed Yoel Romero, I believe. And they're looking to sign more people. So look, I expect them to sign more UFC retired people. I'm not surprised if they try to sign a lot of those old guys that are trying to get back into the UFC, like like Woodley, like Masvidal, like Cowboy Cerrone, even like Nate Diaz, who also is trying to get back into the UFC. But I'm debating on making a video about Nate Diaz. I'm not sure yet. I feel like it's a little bit of a waste, but who knows? Maybe I'll make it. Maybe I won't. I don't know. But still centering around the GFL. What is they're kind of weird. It's weird because I haven't seen a venue. I haven't seen like any staff. When you look at the GFL, you kind of just see announcements, and you see a following. And I guess the following is enough for me to see some sort of validity in it, especially since Anthony Smith is also talking about it. But still, it still looks shady. It still looks weird. It still looks like a big joke, like an April Fool's prank. That's what it looks like at this point. Um, but yeah, they signed Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson is fighting Dylan Dennis. That's going to be interesting, I guess. They signed Shogun Rua. Shogun is like 100 years old now, so I don't know why they signed him. Um, but Sage Northcutt and Alexander Gustafsson are both good picks in my opinion. I think both of those guys are really really cool fighters that have stuff. They have something to bring to the table. Tony is really old. I don't think Tony has anything to bring to the table except illusion. But it's Tony Ferguson. He's a UFC legend, and because he is one, somebody's going to entertain the bullshit and give him some gloves. And although that's really detrimental to Tony's health and will almost definitely shorten Tony's lifespan, they're going to do it regardless because he's a legend and whatever, whatever. Um, I am a Tony fan, but above all, I just really fear for Tony's health. I'm not so much like an ignorant fan that just cares about entertainment and nothing else. Tony is old, and taking more and more punches, being choked out more and more, only gonna fuck him up more and more. Dylan Dennis is a young guy. He's strong. He knows how to grapple really well. I'm sure he's gonna submit Tony in round one. Um, Beyond that, I don't know what Tony does. I'm sure the GFL will keep him and just kind of keep him as a circus act. Signing Tony up to fight a bunch of MMA cans or something. I would have been more excited to see Tony versus Shogun or some shit like that. I don't know. Just signing old people up to fight old people. Maybe Tony Ferguson versus Cowboy Cerrone. Just trying to find more old people for Tony to fight than young people. Because it's obviously just a circus act. It's a joke that doesn't make sense anymore. This will be my last video on the GFL for a while until I get more factual shit. But I just wanted to make this video because, you know, at least one UFC fighter is talking about the GFL, you know, rather than a bunch of MMA meme accounts making jokes and posting weird shit about it. So this is something, and maybe we'll actually see the GFL materialize some pretty interesting fights that may instill a sense of morbid curiosity in a bunch of fans. But overall, you let me know what you think. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and turn them notifications on. Most importantly, turn them notifications on so you can be notified about my next video. YouTube likes to fuck with my viewership, so stay in the loop, stay kept in the loop, stay up to date, stay with me. I love you guys. I'll see you all in the next.